Everybody grows up eating food from their culture. It becomes a part of who each of us are on an individual level. A lot of people associate certain foods with memories from our childhood or family get-togethers or community events. It causes us to hold food at a special place in our hearts and give it personal value. Food also holds value in a cultural context. That's why it's a part of anthropology. Traditional cuisine is passed down from one generation to the next, operating as an expression of cultural identity. People bring traditional foods with them from one country to the next, preserving their culture even when they may move to new places. Food can represent a culture's unique history, lifestyle, values, and beliefs, even as it moves across borders. And as the world becomes more globalized, it's easier to access cuisines from different cultures. The foods of the United States, for example, reflect its history and culture. The indigenous populations of North America have their own foods as well as cooking and eating practices. The European colonization of the Americas introduced European ingredients and cooking styles. As time went on, the influx of immigrants from all over the world developed a rich diversity in food preparation throughout the country. To look into how this plays into the area that we live, Tara, Trent, and I decided to go around to different people in Forest Grove, on and off campus, and ask them to illustrate on a small piece of cardboard some food that holds some significance for them, culturally or for their family traditions. And in the end, we'd all put it together in some sort of collage of food culture, and considering our college budget of approximately $0, it went pretty well.
Do you have cardboard?
Actually.
That's fantastic. That's exactly what I need.
I don't have any hands left. Still love the door.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sick. Put it in this box. Alright, cool. I'll be on my way. Alright, I should have... Give me a... I need to rearrange. I gotta put something down. Alright, so I went around to a handful of friends and I managed to get this much cardboard. There's like 6 boxes here of varying sizes. And today is Wednesday, and it turns out that on Tuesday, the sanitation workers came by and picked up all the recycling and all the trash. So we have a lot less to work with today than if we would have started sooner, which kind of sucks. But we make do with what we got, and we'll be collecting through the end of the week. So hope for the best. Hi, it's 1 a.m. and I have collected 6 more boxes, I believe. I told like one friend I needed cardboard, and all of a sudden like 10 people were like, I have a box. So you know, the power of community engagement. Anyway, I thought that getting boxes would be difficult, but this is actually going along pretty well, so kudos. So Danny, what you making?
Take a guess. You'll never get it.
This doesn't look that great because I'm a horrible artist. Anyway, it's something my grandpa used to make with my dad, and then my dad made it with me. It's something Italian, and I don't remember the name. It's a tomato with either spinach or basil leaf, depending on what you want, and then there's cheese and vinegar on top.
Danny.
Talk about yours.
Taco
about it.
So I got a taco.
You have
Need I say more? So, I'm Mexican, and we like tacos. So I painted a taco. Because you know what? I like tacos.
This is a meal called kicked up beans and rice. It's basically rice, beans, kielbasa sausage, and tomato sauce. It's basically just like a staple of my family. It's what we brought to all of our dinners, to all the potlucks, all that stuff, and people always asked us for it or where it was if we never brought it, and we brought something else. So it just reminds me of all those memories growing up and spending time with my family and going out and doing things.
I'm gonna throw an egg right now. An egg.
So I drew an egg and little rice grains and Spam because me and my grandma used to make kimchi fried rice with Spam.
This is pho, a traditional Viet dish. My family always made it from scratch, but when we got lazy or when we came back from like family trips and things, we would go out to eat pho.
That's supposed to be syrup?
Yes! When me and my brothers would spend the weekend at my aunt's house when my parents went out of town, one special thing she would always do is make us a huge plate of chocolate chip pancakes. And she also made us lots of latkes when we celebrated Hanukkah with her. But as I said before, latkes are too hard to draw.
This is a pasty pie. It has meat in it, potatoes and rutabaga and onions. And it's important to my family because it's a traditional Welsh dish, and my great-grandparents were Welsh. So we kind of eat this as like a reminder of where we come from. And it's super, super good, and it's always like a good time to just reminisce over our family.
Yeah.
This is cream of wheat.
They imply that he is.
My grandma used to make this for me all the time when I was a kid, and it reminds me of when I lived with my grandparents.
This is a bottle of wine from my vineyard back home. For every sort of event or outing we do, we always bring a bottle of wine. I grew up on a vineyard, so we just always had wine for dinner and all meals. Every memory, I remember since I was like 7 years old, I could pour wine for my parents properly, so.
This is a ginger man or a ginger woman. This is significant for me because my family, all of our my members are in the medical field, so a lot of time we weren't all home for the holidays. So it may have been like December 2nd or 3rd that we'd all get together and make gingerbread people, and it was just a way to get us together and get into the holiday spirit, even though we couldn't all be together all the time.
So I drew hot and sour soup. So hot and sour soup is culturally relevant to me because it reminds me of my hometown, because I used to live right next to a Chinese restaurant.
This is funeral potatoes.
This is the one dish that my family has at any event, like any event. It's also the dish, it's called funeral potatoes, so it's also the dish that was always brought to for the after ceremony of the funeral, but then also just ended up becoming a dish that's at every like big family event.
I drew ramen noodles. I ate it a lot when I was a kid because we were kind of poor, and ramen noodles are really cheap.
Have you ever tried cracking an egg into it?
No, but that is a traditional way of making it, with egg and vegetables and stuff on top.
I drew udon. It's Japanese food, and it's kind of like ramen. The noodle is white and a little bit widened, and also soup. It's based on soy sauce.
I drew a pork tamale because my stepdad's Hispanic, and so we have a lot of Hispanic family that come, and so for all the holidays, they always will bring us tamales that they made fresh, and so we'll eat those, and it's good.
How this is all going to line up.
Do
Because
we
might end up
want to just place them out to see how it looks first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, when I was younger, I never thought that America had a culture. I thought America was just cultureless and every other country had a culture, and we were just here like bums. Like, well, that's literally when I was a kid. I didn't think that we had culture. We were just Americans, and then every other place had their thing, but we as Americans were just Americans. And that's ethnocentric? Because that's using your culture to basically define the standards of everything else. And that's, as a kid, that's essentially what I did, because what we did was normal, but what everyone else did was special.
Yeah, and like that definitely came through when it came to asking people to do these things, especially with people whose closer relatives weren't from other countries or who were like many generations in America, or especially white people too that I asked were very like, but I don't even have a culture, like what do you want me to do, McDonald's? You know? The thing is like we're so surrounded by that we kind of think it's stupid, not cultural, you know?
Yeah.
And to be like, my cultural food is a hamburger, like that doesn't come across right, like it doesn't feel right, you know? Adding the whole family tradition thing into it kind of showed that aspect of it. For example, like the Mormon funeral potatoes. It's like you don't really think that that's cultural. You're calling them funeral potatoes. Funerals in themselves is a very like cultural situation.
Oh yeah.
And then having a specific food that goes to it to the point where we name that food after the event.
Yeah.
Like that's like a big example of a cultural thing.
The one person I interviewed, Yuri, the Japanese international student, when I asked her just to do a food, she just did the casual food she could get anywhere, which was udon noodles. Like living in Japan, I feel like you can just go to a ramen shop and order that super easily. Where here you can go to McDonald's or get a burger or any burger place, literally, and get food. Whereas in Japan, you probably go to any ramen shop and just get ramen. Literally, it's fine. it's a different culture, other places that, and they probably have that same sense of it's just normal here. This is just how we are.
I think that we did pretty good. I mean, it's all recycled materials, like sustainable, right?
Yes.
We didn't buy anything. We got some community involvement going to reach out to everybody and be like, y'all, participate. Let's get some different viewpoints in on this. I don't know, I think that's important, so.
Culture is good, food is better. That's my final